American Society of Safety Professional Kuwait Chapter, respected Conference Chair, Kuwait International Conference on Occupational Health and Industrial Hygiene 2021. I am Nadira, signing in from Malaysia, and on behalf of ASSP and KICOH, I take this opportunity to welcome you all for yet another professional development program titled Contents and Process of Building a Grand Lifting Plan for Critical Leaves. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me to welcome Mr. Muhammad Riaz, Past President of ASSP and Conference Manager of KICOH 2021, to take us through today's proceedings. Mr. Muhammad Riaz.
Thank you, Nadira. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Good evening to everyone. MashaAllah, and we have a gathering here tonight. It's a global gathering. People from Saudi Arabia are here, people from India are here, people from Malaysia. A good lot of people I see they are from Malaysia, and a very, very large number, of course, from our Kuwait chapter. It's my privilege to be here again. It's like coming back to the family, our ASSP family. Thank you very much, guys, to give me this opportunity. I really appreciate the President Jahed and Vice President, our Secretary, Mr. Safdar, and all the advisory committee members of ASSP, and of course our chairman, now our honorable chairman, Father Ali. Thank you very much, sir, for this opportunity to be here. And what a great way to get the evening started. Today's event is going to be a very interesting one. It's a very technical one. And then we have a very special guest speaker today. And then he's signing in all the way from Malaysia. So it's going to be a very interesting. I want you guys to concentrate on the presentations, and this is the time you got to squeeze our speaker and then to get as many questions as much as you can get him answered, because if you leave him, he will be far away again from you, from Kuwait to Malaysia. So reaching out there is difficult. So this is your time. You can catch hold of him. Put your questions in the chat box. We'll try our best to answer as many questions as we can. And inshallah, we are going to have a very good evening today. So good evening to Malaysians. Good evening to people in Kuwait. Good evening also in India and Saudi Arabia. So I would like to have with me our president of ASSP, and also we have Safdar with us. Safdar, can you just say salam to everyone, because you're having problem with your video there? So at least you can join us with your audio. Yeah.
Assalamu alaikum. I'm really very excited to listen from our overseas friends, and it will be really a very good lesson learned for a critical lift technical meet by Lieutenant Colonel Frank Tan, and it will be a good lesson learned and a good sharing.
Inshallah.
We look forward for more engagement with Mr. Riaz Sharif.
Thank you.
Past president.
Thank you. So together, Safdar, we can welcome our chairman to give his chairman address, please. Chairman.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. On behalf of the American Society of Safety Professional Kuwait Chapter, it is my pleasure to welcome all of you tonight for this very important program and the presentation. With my very special thanks to Colonel Frank Tan for giving this very important presentation to our professionals as part of professional development program, which is also a part of the Kuwait International Conference on Occupational Health, which will be held on 3rd and 4th, 2021, November. And in fact, this is very important subject. And since you attend this program tonight, I'm sure you know how is the importance of this kind of process, the lifting of using the crane in lifting process and activities. And I have been in this process for a long time in the refineries in Kuwait, and I have attended so many accidents, even serious accidents, because of the crane operation. So today, Colonel Frank Tan was the chief consultant, will give us very important information on the process of building a crane lifting plan for critical jobs. It is not a basic, it is very experience information and how to put a necessary plan to do critical lifting jobs. So it is highly appreciated by us that Colonel Frank is with us tonight. So try your best to gain the most information from him. Ask a question, ask the detail also. And even after the presentation, I am sure that he will be available. You can contact him anytime by telephone or WhatsApp to ask any question regarding the lifting process. Also, I would like to thank Mr. Riyadh for arranging this program and supporting ASSP Kuwait chapter in this program and so many programs before. Thank you, Mr. Riyadh, for your support. Our president, our chapter president, and his team is here also, because I'm sure that they feel the importance of this kind of program for our professionals. So welcome again, and enjoy this very important presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Abu Muhammad. I really appreciate your kind words, and thank you for appreciating me. Really, it's with your busy schedule, you have just agreed to be with us, and it's a very, very encouraging for us. So, ladies and gentlemen, as he said, it's time for you to gain as much as little time we have, about 40 minutes. The program goes like this, that we start the program, and then after 20 minutes, we'll take a break for a 5 minutes ergonomic break, and then we'll come back and Frank will continue, and then we will end the program with our closing remark, right? So we'll wrap up the day's proceedings. So can you please, ladies and gentlemen, join me to welcome the president of American Society of Safety Professionals. Jahid Thakur is the present president, and he's joining for the second term here. So really, it's a tough innings for him. So Jahid, welcome. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh to you.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you, Mr. Riyaz. Thanks a lot for arranging this wonderful evening technical webinar. Assalamu alaikum and good evening to all ASSP members and HSC professionals from Kuwait, from GCC countries and around the globe. Myself, Jahid Thakur, President, ASSP Kuwait Chapter. I am delighted yet again to welcome you all for this webinar on process of building a crane lifting plan for critical lifts. Sincere thanks to Mr. Riyaz and team of Viconics for this collaboration, and I believe this webinar will be certainly a path event for the upcoming conference on Kuwait International Conference on Occupational Health and Industrial Hygiene, which is scheduled in the next month, November 3 and 4. So mark your calendar and register in advance. Lifting activities are very critical in the industry, and we see a lot of accidents happen on the day-to-day activities. Today's webinar will provide participants overview about contents and process of building a crane lifting plan for critical lifts, how to review the options and develop a comprehensive plan, and how to develop a systematic method statement and carry out a safe critical lift. I am extending my sincere thanks and appreciation to our ASSP Kuwait chapter chairman, engineer Fadel Ali Abu Muhammad, for his kind consent to organize this technical meet. I also thank the speaker of the day, Lieutenant Colonel Frank Tan, who is the chief consultant of ISO Group Malaysia, for his voluntary efforts to make this webinar successful. Thank you once again and have a great technical webinar. Over
Thank
to
you.
you, Mr. Riaz.
Thank you. So one other point I would like to add here, Jahid, like, we've been seeing a lot of videos of cranes, and sometimes we laugh over it, but it is not a laughing matter. It's a matter that we need to ponder about. We need to think about. And it looks so beautiful. It so looks funny that a huge crane topples, and it is not a joke. It's really serious. We need to work on these things. That's why we are here in today's evening's program. One important announcement that we'd like to do here is that this program is of course free to attend, but however, if our dear respected delegates would like to carry on with a certificate for attending this technical meet, I suggest them that they have to pay about KD5 to the chapter, so that we can issue the certificates. So if you guys, after attending, if you feel that this is a very worthwhile certificate that you can carry with you, so it's always good to 5 KD is nothing, so it's good to have it. So now it's time. I think we are all worked on our inaugural speeches. Then now it's time for me to move on to introduce today evening's speaker. So I think I should pick up a good piece of paper. This is our conference chair. He will not be here tonight. He is conveying his regards to all the delegates because of his some urgency, he couldn't attend. So we will move to our next item, that is getting our friend on board. So before I start to talk about his introduction, I need to pick up a paper because his introduction is so long, so I cannot remember and memorize. So better I read it so that I will not make a mistake in mashallah his credentials. So it's all about those days that I met him about 10-12 years back in Malaysia, and so the story started all the way from then. So he was then also a ASSP member. So I came and met in Malaysia with him as a member of ASSP. So that's how the ASSP creates a lot of networking. So this is how we network started, and then I start to know Lieutenant Colonel Frank Tan. Since then, I know each other very well. So he has written a lot of SOPs and lift policies, lifting plans for many MNCs, organizations in Malaysia. He has given trainings over 100 trainings for Fortune 500 companies, government companies, and public organizations as well in various countries. Lieutenant Colonel is a certified crane lifting director, specialized also in transportation, which is again, it's accredited by ASME and ELIA. He's also a member, presently he's also a member of ASSP and SAE USA. He has served as a senior position in many MNCs in Malaysia and other few Asian countries as well. So during this pandemic, we were all relaxing, and this gentleman was so busy conducting trainings online. And mashallah, as ISO group, they proudly say that they are innovators. They are the people who come up with new patents and new things. They come up with so innovative ways of, though the people are not practically, see, any trainings related to forklift, related to transportation, related to crane, it talks about being present physically. But they have developed so beautiful, online systems, that using a tablet, they literally do a literally virtual walk down of the equipments. So and it was approved by many government organizations, this training equal to a physical appearance training. So that's excellent. So please join me. Let me have him on board, please. Hi. Good evening to you. Please unmute my friend. So very good evening to you, Frank. It's about 11:45, 48. So how it feels to be awake now still?
Okay, good.
So this is now we are going to hear your English, and then we will try to understand. Many are there, very different category of people. We have Arabs, we have Arabic speaking, we have Indian English speaking, or Malaysian English speaking people. So we all try our best to understand your beautiful presentation, inshallah, tonight. So I will let the floor back to you, and then the whole evening's proceedings is yours now. Please go ahead. We already taken 10 extra minutes from you, and then we are sorry for that, but just let's get going.
Sure.
Okay. Before you start, please, I request everyone to mute your cams. I sincerely request. We don't need any cams here, please. I really sincerely request you to mute your cam, with all due respect to everyone. So mashallah, we have about 122 participants as of now. So thank you very much. Over to you, please. Thank you.
Okay. Let me just share sound, optimize video. Okay. Second. Everybody can see my slides. Give me a thumbs up. For those who can see my slides and hear my sound, can you just type OK?
Go ahead.
Okay, good. Let's proceed. So thank you for giving me this opportunity. Good evening and good day to all present from wherever you are. I'm honored to be invited to speak at this international forum of HSE professionals. And on behalf of the ISO Group Malaysia and myself, I express my appreciation and gratitude to the American Society of Safety Professionals, Kuwait Chapter Chairman, Engineer Fadal Al-Ali, President Mr. Jahid Taqor, KICOH 2021 Conference Chair, Dr. Wahid Al-Habi, all the distinguished ASSP Kuwait Chapter members and other delegates from around the globe. And of course, my dear friend and well-wisher from across the borders, Mr. Muhammad Riaz, my good old friend. And but he is very young. Mr. Muhammad Riaz, thank you very much for the kind introduction just now. Ladies and gentlemen, without much ado, let me start today's technical presentation on contents and the process of building a crane lifting plan for critical lifts. All right, so okay, my topic for tonight will be in reference to number one, the purpose of a crane lifting plan. Okay, and it will be skewed to in respect of only critical lifting, not so much of those routine lifts and those standard lifts. And third thing we will cover will be the detailed process to build a lifting plan. And of course, finally, we look at the lean contents. I repeat the word lean. Lean contents necessary for the purpose, because most people like to cram in too much information. So too little is bad, but too much is also bad. Okay. All right. Next slide. This talk is in line with the British Standard 7121 Part 1 and a little bit of Part 2, Code of Practice for Safe Use of Crane, as well as many other international standards from US and what so forth. I will also make reference to the Department of Skills Development, Government of Malaysia, the National Occupational Skills Standard, Advanced Diploma Level 5 of the Crane Lifting Operation Planning Management, for which me and my friends and colleagues are the expert panel members and verifiers. And this was built recently and which has since been approved by the Technical Committee for Assessment of Standards in Malaysia only today, this afternoon. I have also skewed it to the Department of Occupational Safety and Health Director General's Directive Letter dated the 26th of October 2020. Therein, the DG commands that management to ensure strict adherence to the lifting team members, inclusive of the crane lifting supervisor, who must be qualified, trained, and experienced, all three. He also covers the equipment, ancillaries, and accessories, no bypass, and must be as per the manufacturer's user and maintenance manuals. The permit to work as well as a crane lifting plan must be prepared. The purpose of a crane lifting plan: it must allow one to actually analyze the task that you have on hand based on the requirements or the project that you have received from your clients or from your boss. Next, it must identify to avoid all the key issues that could cause an accident, whether it's the environment, the wind, the ground bearing pressure, the waves, the buoyancy, or the lifting team, or the load itself, or the windage of the load, of the equipment, ancillaries, and the accessories, or the disarrangement of the steps that we want to cover under our method statement. It should also decide on how various options and choices, whether to use one or more or even 4 cranes, ancillaries or accessories, timing of the lift, modular load, okay, because certain loads we break it up, and by the manufacturer to enable it to be carried or mobilized or moved from country to country, whether by export or import. And work also with specialized transporters, and also focus on the task and establish a logical, I will repeat the word, is sequential, not the logical, more on sequential. A lot of people just talk about logical, but it's not only logical. I'm talking more here is about the sequential method statement. That means following a proper sequence, even though it's logical, but if it's not following sequence, then it could become a big issue. And all this will finally, we hope, lead to a successful, effective, and efficient management of crane lifting. Because when you do a proper crane lifting, it's not only for safety, it's also for the efficient management of crane lifting and how you can actually reduce costs in the process. Okay. So what is termed by a critical lifting? Any operation or work which can cause significant health and safety consequences on themselves and many others. A lifting operation whereby it is vital, important for personnel involved must be competent, qualified, fit for work. Even temporary workers management is part of a crane lifting planner's duties to ensure it is properly done. Okay, fatigue is also part of a concern of a crane lifting planner. We cannot say that is left to somebody else to handle. Or the HR, okay? Any non-compliance to standard operating procedure or a method statement or the lifting plan as a whole can result in the major catastrophe, incidents or accidents. And I will say some of the examples of critical lifting to get everybody to know what we are talking about here very clearly will be tandem lifting involving 2 or more cranes or MEWP machines. Lifting at near limit capacity. How much is near? We'll talk about that later. Night lifting, submerged load underwater. Lifting from a barge where you have things like this, okay, and doing what you call land reclamation. Lifting near power lines, okay. All these are some of the many critical lifting. The basic steps in a lifting planning process, okay, will be, first thing, refer to your company's lift policy or SOP, for which I have helped many MNCs to actually develop. Okay, you have to understand the task at hand that you want to perform. You have to determine the residual risks, and by way of the recce that we actually come and visit the site, and maybe use some of your laser beams and actually calculate what is the height and width of not only the product, but the obstacles that we have to overcome. You have to categorize the risk, as mentioned in the objects of this training, all right, or this talk. Okay, categorize it. You have to document a detailed plan to eliminate, not reduce, all the risks. In the process, you have to describe how the work is to be conducted, determine the sequential steps that I talked about just now, determine the measures to be taken to control the risk, to box all those risks, and finally, more important, you have to communicate the plan. All right, you have to ensure that people communicate the plan, whether it's yourself as a crane lifting planner or your agent, who is the crane lifting supervisor or the crane lifting coordinator. It depends on the kind of lift that you are talking about here. And you will have, therefore, then develop a good plan. And I would say it's more than a plan. Why? Because when you have actually a good plan, what happens is that you can actually review the various options against the timeline given to you, or the timing available for you to do within a short turnaround time. When, for example, we do that a lot for Petronas, okay? The national oil producing company in the Malaysia, okay? And the short turnaround time that you have within 3 weeks or 1 month, you have to shut down. You have to finish everything there. There is no such thing as a delay. There's no such thing that you can have a failure there. The manpower contract lifting or a crane hire, the difference between the two is important. Okay, you have that choice. The holding area that your crane comes in before it comes into on-site. Okay, the holding area is important. The banksman who actually receive and brings in the huge crane, all right, into the place where you call it the setup requirement, the area, and the subject to all the local authorities on the closure of roads. This is another factor that you have to watch out. And sometimes you have to do crane lifting over hospitals, where there are people coming in and going out 24 hours, non-stop, 24/7. Or at the seaports, where the water, right, rate goes up and down, okay? The airport, you have to probably keep it at 6 meters away from the perimeter, or 10 meters, not exceeding 10 meters, not exceeding above the ground level. Otherwise, you are actually going against the rules or the laws. The railway, the maximum wind force Okay, for most of the cranes are 28 miles per hour, the wind force. The railway itself, running itself, is a limit to the where you can set up your crane. The electricity and telecommunications lines, the hillside, or even the village head. The village head, we call it Ketua Kampung over here. Okay, their request, their requirement. If not, they will give you hell. The costing or the recosting of projects where whichever owner of the project comes in and say, I want a 20% across the board cut in the budget. So whether it's government linked or whether it's a private project. These are all the areas that if you develop a good plan, it's easy for you to actually adjust accordingly. Okay. I'm saying it's not an easy task, but the work of doing it is much easier. Your company's policy I talked about just now. Okay, if any, okay, if you don't have, you have to build one. This will actually help you to classify the different risk categories of the lift. That's only first step. The second is it will help you to determine the minimum extent of documentation is required for you to do so that you are in compliance with the lift policy of your company or your client's lift policy. Thereafter, then you decide on the extent of the planning approval required, whether you go for multiple approvals, all right, more stringent checking. So this lift policy will make sure that we standardize the documentation required, so as to ensure that safety is complied at all times, right? Next, sometimes requirement for can't help it issue, can't help it, like lifting over people. When you really have to do that, then you will require, the policy will state, all right, special terms and conditions for night lifting, use of certificated new accessories. Okay, I repeat, certificated new accessory. Don't just assume new accessories are good enough. You have to get it certificated, whether it should or not. It should be all stated in your policy. Higher down rating of capacity, okay, because you're lifting over people. What kind of netting are you going to provide? And go for the minimal pedestrian. If you cannot help it, you go for the minimal pedestrian. So these are all under lifting policy. Third-party inspection, not dated older than how many days before the current critical lifting. And just like our personal COVID-19 test result, before you enter any third-party factory, they want a COVID test negative result, not exceeding 3 days or whatever. Current inspection report are referred to the last report, which was actually done for the inspection of the equipment that we are going to use. Okay, so these are some of the terms and conditions that should appear in your lift policy. All the cranes exceeding 5 years are not allowed for critical lifts. Crane logbook, maintenance book are checked and in compliance with the user and the maintenance manual of the crane. Okay, I noticed that most of the time, many organizations don't insist on that. They expect such a huge crane with the outrigger legs. What could go wrong? Unfortunately, they are wrong. Okay, the planner should actually include all information that the lifting team can conduct the lift efficiently and safely as per your intentions. Next, the basic steps in the planning process. Okay, after I finish planning process, then we will take a break. The basic steps, the first thing that we have to do is to understand the task. You have to understand the contents of the load. It must not be freely suspended. Okay, cannot. You need it to be freely suspended. Like in this case, it's actually a bundler puller. Okay, but of course, when I went into Petronas Chemicals, I can't take the picture because it's not allowed to take the picture. So I download a substitute picture from the website lah. Okay, all right. The same process. A lot of people just look at what is the weight of the bundle puller, but you are going for side pulling it out. You're not doing a free lifting. Okay, so it's not only what it weighs, it's the dimension also. And it's coming out from an area here. What is your COG, center of gravity? Is it, if any other products, is it liquid or is it partly filled? There's a lot of difference between liquid and also if it is partly filled, it is going to make a lot of difference in your lifting. You have to know the pickup point, the set down point, and you also have to know the upending and the flipping of the load that is required or not. And the slewing area that you are going to go over to, and that is all going to be part of necessary information for you to actually come out with a complete or comprehensive crane lifting plan with a comprehensive systematic method statement. So you need to go and recce the working environment, the limitations, and understand all the hazards that are present. You have to understand the rules governing the activity if you are doing lifting near the airports and what so forth. Next, we talk about the basic steps, which is number one, based on those risks that you have already done, you collected, and then after that, you associate it to the plan. You categorize the risk band, as it falls. I will cover that in a short while, that it falls within and what actions you need to take. You have to document the plan in detail, okay, appropriate to the risk and the operation process. And then you have to describe how the work is to be conducted, describe the progression of steps to be taken, detail the measures to be taken to control those risks. Basically, when there is a crane accident, there are 4 types. Very clear cut. Number 1, crane collapse. Okay. Load drop. Crane hits something or someone. The crane contacts high voltage electric pilot. I will just take one of these example after this. Probably crane collapse. And then I will then bring you towards the risk and the severity factors and how it's going to affect the control measures that you want to take. Now, objective of this talk is to perform a comprehensive crane lifting plan, thinking through a task, identify where the risk lies, and planning the least risk, also cost effective. I determine that must be both methods. Most people, unfortunately, always think weight is the risk factor, the weight, all right? It is not true, right? I totally disagree to that. Percentage of the use of the capacity, of the crane, a 100-ton crane, the percentage use of that capacity, the ancillaries, the accessories, all this is the key. Okay, most important is here, the percentage used. The capacity of the lifting equipment and the accessories is as high as its weakest point. Okay, most people say the chain is as strong as its weakest point. Okay, so if you have the equipment and you have the accessory, the sling, but it's for a smaller capacity, then you have to take the lowest of all. The windage surface of a load, let's say you have a load, I'll take my phone as the load, all right? Okay, the windage, the surface of that load, even the crane is one of the causes. The sail of a non-motorized sailing boat can power a boat to sail against the sea waves. All right, so this, on the other hand, it means if your load is a large dimension, that windage should be calculated by a crane lifting planner. It's not just say, no, that is a separate thing. No, you have to take note of that. Yeah, the heavy, even the crane itself, it can cause a windage. So you have to understand the dimension of your crane. All right. A lot of people also think windage is only, okay, I got an anemometer. Unfortunately, my trainer has taken away my unit. The anemometer when you're checking, it's only at ground level, at sea level. But if your crane is boomed up, like this crane here, all right, at that kind of height, the wind can go up as much as 50%. So if you are having 20 miles per hour, up there it's 30 miles per hour. All right. And with a high windage, it actually causes it to be 30, 40 miles per hour. Your crane actually is like a sail of the sailing boat. It will overturn. Heavy load only affects the matting requirements in respect of the ground bearing pressure. A drop of 6 inches, all right, let's say this crane, just 6 inches go sideways, all right, in the outrigger legs. And if your crane is 40-footer, the boom, 40-footer long, and it will sway 6 inches, actually costs 3 feet. You know, so your crane actually sways, boom, crane stays 3 feet. So is your normal down rating of 25% enough to counter the shock loading of the weight of the load, which it will be magnified many times? I'll tell you an example. A 400 kg, let's say, load, swayed 4 inches up, down, 4 inches, like that. The boom, up and down, 4 inches, all right? I'm not even talking about 3 feet, all right? 4 inches can cause a shock load of 5 times, meaning 400 kg comes to 2,000 kg or 2 ton. So if your down loading is 25%, is it enough? It is now 400 kg becomes 2,000 kg, 5 times. Heavy load will be damaged whenever it is dropped. But even a small plier, okay, or whatever, that is dropped at a height, okay, it is going to be a fatal to the victim. Okay, small item. Example, let's say a 9-meter high, okay, 9-meter high, this item, drop. The impact speed is exceeding a normal highway speed of 110 kilometers per hour. 9-meter height, you drop, the impact speed is 110 kilometers per hour. A 40-meter height, like our MRT2 in Kuala Lumpur now, is all developing, but we are only focused on the underground and tunneling. We don't take care of the other part. The MRT project, the 40-meter height that we are talking about here, if anything drop, okay, however small, I'm not talking about a 500-ton load. I'm just talking a small item of just, say, 10 kg or whatever. But the impact is 260 kilometers per hour. An elephant will also die. Okay? Destruction is a consequence factor. It is not a risk factor. Okay? A lot of people always think the weight is the risk factor. Not true. Okay, next. I'd like to cover here the example of the crane tipping. Okay, the primary cause, tipping due to overload, excessive radius, mechanical structure failure, no inspection, not complying to manufacturer's user or maintenance manual. The root cause, excessive weight or incorrect COG. Okay, and many other more. Increased risk factors, tandem lifts exceed 75% capacity or whatever. There are many others here. I can't cover all today. Consequences, the crane is damaged or the load is destroyed. Severity factors, you have to look at it also. The proximity to what? The plant, the equipment, the buildings. Because we are not talking about crane lifting only for construction. We are talking here also about the crane lifting when you do and shut down in your factory. Next, operations are classified as critical, complex, require pre-planning, and require documented plans. A critical risk lift will present one or more higher order risks or severity factor, as I said just now, and will probably be a more complex operation. All right, it will therefore require a much more detailed plan in order to properly address all these critical risks. Policy that we talked about in the beginning will probably require detailed scrutiny and multiple approvals by various levels of the plan, and require someone with advanced engineering or field skills to prepare it, probably a lifting planner, or some places you call it rigging engineer. All right. The basic steps in a planning process. What we have here is review the options. Okay, review the available lifting techniques appropriate to the task, and review available lifting equipment and the available environment to accommodate the lifting, because when your crane is lifting, this comes out 600 mm. Okay, make a minimal risk selection of the equipment and the methodology. If it is within your power, why not in your power? Yes, it's not within your power. The limitation of the time, the day, the night, and the expenses budget. This is going to affect you. I'll take a rest over here, and then after this, you can continue. This is my last slide for this first portion. So the basic steps in the planning process will include developing a comprehensive, good and feasible lifting plan. That will include wrecking the place, sketching, and determine the crane or alternate locations, required configuration, boom, jib length, okay? Operating radius. You want to determine the load path, the sequence of the operation, and the flipping involved. Of course, it sounds so difficult, but actually, you have some software to help you. I'll cover that. Devise a stable rigging arrangement and specify appropriate suitable rated rigging equipment. You may even want to use triangular plates or spreader like frames for transfer of loads because your crane can't reach that height. You have check loads and capacities, and probably you want to verify the required clearance that you need, or you may even want to look at the ground bearing pressures and matting requirements. These are all the process. That's why this talk, actually, I wrote it as the contents and the process. But when I tell you now, I'm talking with the process first, then I'll come to the contents. Otherwise, as most people always think, it is a special form, and you're just filling in forms only. So it's that simple. It's not. You have to go through the process, then you are able to have a complete lifting plan, okay, by filling in the blanks into the lifting plan. With that, I hand over to you, Mr. Riaz, for the ergonomic break.
All right. That's excellent. About 20 plus minutes. Thank you very much, Lieutenant Colonel Frank. It's quite a good first half of presentation. Now we will take this ergonomic break. So this break is not really a break, but we would like to take this opportunity to utilize this few minutes to appreciate and then talk to our professionals who have recently gained their excellent achievement in the field of safety, and getting themselves qualified, and then earning the certificate of certified safety professional, that is CSP. So please, ladies and gentlemen, please join me to welcome Muhammad Shahid. Assalamu alaikum, Shahid, how are you? And thank you for joining. Mr. Pawan, please. Yeah, hi, Pawan. How are you doing?
Oh, fine, thank you.
Good. Thanks for joining in. Mr. Ismail. All right. Hi, Ismail, please. Thank you very much, Ismail, for joining in. So really appreciate you guys. First of all, congratulations for getting your CSP, graduations. So we are very, very, pleased to hear that you guys, that the young batch of guys are coming up now, mashallah, getting qualified for this. I would like to have you here for one simple reason, that what motivated you to take up this challenging examination? I will take this by one. So I will start probably from Pawan. Very quick, very brief. What motivated you to take up this certificate?
Uh, First of all, I thank you very much for giving me this opportunity and honoring me. I'm really thankful and honored with this. I have two reasons for that. One is I had good time for this Corona break. I utilized this Corona break. And second is because I'm in oil and gas field for like more than 25 years, and I was into HSC, and I came to know that this is the gold standard. This is the highest standard which we can achieve. So I thought, why not to go for the highest one? So I utilized this Corona period, and fortunately, with the help of my mentors and well-wisher, I could achieve this. Thank you.
That's excellent. That's a very motivating factor. And now utilize your time. No time is meant to be wasted. So we get that message from you. Thank you, Pawan. Can I know a little bit from you, Shahid?
Good. Thank you, Mr. Riaz, for giving this opportunity and honoring us for this international forum session. I agree with Mr. Pawan as well, that we got an opportunity during this COVID to study ourselves to get ready for this examination. And basically, everyone have some aim in their profession, and CSP is one of the gold standard with regards to safety professionals. And we had an aim, and I thought to complete this target within the stipulated time, and alhamdulillah achieved.
Mashallah. Thank you very much. So the youngest of all is here, I think, Ismail, right? So,
yes, sir.
So that's excellent. So Ismail, what motivated you to get this, and how are you feeling, and what is the message that you think that it's not only meant for who is somebody past 15-20 years in the field of safety, but even a 5-year-old, 10-year-old experienced HSC guy can also give it a try?
Yes, sir. Sir, actually, I aimed first of all for ASP. So I studied hard for almost 6 months to gain knowledge for ASP. I cleared it in first attempt, so I gone for CSP. I have about 4 years of experience. So alhamdulillah, I prepared well for CSP also for 1.5 months. So it was all involvement and giving time for the studies. So doing the blueprint, all the elements need to be done properly, and understanding the practical use of what we learn.
Excellent. So the practical part plays an important role in CSP, correct? So yeah, so that's excellent. Once upon a time when we just started, we were very new, not very new, but then in the early days, we hardly used to see any CSPs. It was the first guy was probably whom I know is Mr. Ravi, so who is presently also working with us. So he was probably the first of the person among us who took up the CSP. And those days, I remember he never had any soft copies. He used to collect the books, and he used to study from those hard copies and go and write it. So it was a very, very difficult path that he took it, and he had cleared it, mashallah. So anyway, thank you guys for joining us here. I'm sure that you are all feeling very nice and good about it. So you are the motivation for all those plus 100+ people, 123 people who are here with us. Many of them are also CSP graduates, and probably more. But still, you are the inspiration, aspirations for the many of our young generation safety officers and safety engineers. So thank you very much for taking your time off, joining this technical meet. So I think this is the best way ASSP and we as your previous batch of safety guys could give it back to you. So I will let Thakur to just say a quick word before we move on to the next this one. Before we let Jahid to just give his word. Very important aspect is, guys, we will have a lucky draw at the end of this program, and it's a very surprise gift will be there for you guys to take it up. And please stay around and then take the best of it. So I see very less questions coming as of now, but still whatever questions are there are very, very important questions. Please get going. No question is a good question or a bad question. A question is a question. It's welcomed. If you can able to address it, we will address it. Okay, please go ahead. There's nothing to feel shy. We're all professionals. We're all in the same line. So you can go ahead and put whatever questions that you feel that, okay, I want to know this, and just put it. Let's encourage each other to come up with more questions. Jahid, go ahead, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. Riaz. First of all, I would like to congratulate Mr. Pawan Bansal, Brother Sahid, and youngest CSP, Mr. Ismail Jalgaonkar. Mashallah, really, Riaz Sahab, you are doing something different. And I remember the quote that the leaders are not doing, the leaders are doing things differently. And you are the one who is always trying to bring something different. And this concept really gives motivation to all 100 plus our ASSP members and as well as all participants to achieve for CSP. Thank you very much, Mr. Riaz, and wonderful presentation from Lieutenant Frank. Mashallah, good going. Thank you.
Thank you. So if Lieutenant is ready, we are done with our break time. Thank you, Pawan. Thank you, Shahid. Thank you, Ismail. All the very best for you guys. May Allah be supportive to you. May you use your knowledge to cascade to your next generation. It's knowledge is not only gaining. Knowledge is also about giving out. It's all about you learn. You spend good 10, 15, 20 years of learning. So when you have your 10, 15 years of learning, it's very important that we transfer this knowledge to the next generation, transfer to your friends around you, transfer to your colleagues, whatever little you learn. People who attended this program today, they gain some knowledge. Please go and spread the news, cascade this information back to your friends. So that's the whole idea of professionalism, learning, and cascading back to the next generation. Thank you very much for joining in. Lieutenant, you are there with us. Let's go ahead and hand over this program back to Colonel.
Okay, thank you. And
I request everybody to mute their cams. I really appreciate. Thank you very much. So because the simple reason why we are asking you to do that, we don't need any distractions. And I would request that, when you watch the presentation, I would suggest you to minimize the frames to one frame. So only you can see the presenter, all other frames are collapsed. So I suggest you to do so that you can see the presentation slide very well. So far so good. Frank, go ahead, and thank you very much.
Okay.
I'll let you to continue.
Yes. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And congratulations to all the 3 new CSP graduates. All right. So now I will continue with my slide. Okay. Now we can talk about the contents for the crane lifting plan. Okay. So that should include lift studies. Okay. That means you use from your recce already come back, you should do using a manual T-square or software. It is important, like in this chart over here, this is only an idea of what it is about. It's not the one that we are going to draw. So I will explain why it's important, because you don't need the crane to go and touch the wire to get electrocuted. 50 kilowatt power line okay, will require at least 35 feet or about 11 meters of the minimum safe approach distance to the furthest end of the, I repeat, the load, not the boom. Okay, because if your load, okay, is wet or your load is steel, I-beam or whatever, that load itself, which is being carried here, and here, so this thing touches, no need to touch. If you are less than 35 feet, it's already electrocuted. The plan and elevation view is important. A software can generate a 3-dimension view. Rigging hookup, the detail arrangement is important. The floor matting arrangement, with depending upon the ground bearing pressure and the plate size, all those are important things that you have to calculate and make sure it is there. And the size is important, okay, because we are not talking about the distributing the weight only, but we are talking about that sometimes you will lift the crawler crane, sometimes you need to move. That is time when in case you move and in case it slip, okay, just 3 inches, I told you just now, then it's going to be bad. Now, detailed clearance checks, where applicable, example, the authorities, electricity supply company, the train, ports, armed forces, whatever. Sequential drawing, if you can, the drawing, but which the steps drawn there, but it's quite difficult. I've seen, but it is very confusing to the normal people who actually read it. It is required, you have that. And if you can convert it into video, I will show an example of that later. That will be even more interesting because it gives you 2 purposes. All right, it serves 2 purposes. All right, one is for the lifting team and another is for another purpose. Okay, next, critical lifting plan will also have many people also do it separately. They split it out. So you have a data sheet and you also have one which is the schematics. All right, or you can combine everything into one and call it a document, crane lifting plan. That's it, inclusive of the method statement, inclusive of all the other things that I talked about. Now, the crane load chart extracts. All these are important because it helps you to actually no need to start looking for the manual and so forth. You actually have that one extracted and put together with your crane lifting plan. So it makes it easier for the people to go and check. The lifting team members, all right, the crane operator, as well as the the crane lifting supervisor or the coordinator. A lot of people thinking that crane lifting coordinator is just coordinate here and that activity. That's all. Little do they realize that in a tandem lifting, a crane lifting coordinator is coordinating 2 cranes or 4 cranes moving concurrently at any one time, and you have to know how to adjust that. So next, the supporting documentation, the rating charts for all the accessories and everything like your spreader bars, the lift beams and the ancillaries, all that are important. Calculations of any customized items of rigging accessories like swivel eye bolts or the triangular plates and everything. Okay, these I use this for training so little cute ones, but it tells the purpose. All right, so instead of trying to think of what it is, the ground bearing pressure should be mentioned, the document supporting it, the load distribution design calculation, any emergency is not only for your crane emergency, it could be other in your site. You have the emergency already incident, and what would you do at that moment of time, because you are lifting your crane, your product halfway, and you come out from a place, and after your boom has already slewed to the left or right, or your boom has already come up, it's easier. But if it's already slewed, then it's quite difficult to actually slew it back and put it down just because there's an emergency taking place and everybody has to run away. So the crane lifting planner has to actually plan all this kind of thing, But if you want to continue with your lifting and go to the other point, it is quite far. So it will take time. So, and you have to get out of that, the situation over there. Your lifting team. So, but you want to simply put it down somewhere, cannot, because it's just like when you are crossing a bridge. All right, you are crossing a bridge, and when you're crossing a bridge, the bridge breaks down, going to break down, cracking up. So what do? You can't go to the left, you go back, and you can go to the front. So you actually have to think through the process. It's just like when your bridge is going to crack, this just like this. All right, this alligator or this crocodile here. So you have to actually get ready to how do you do in such an emergency? All right, critical areas, turning circle for counterbalance, the pylon electric, all these are important factors that you have to work. Okay, this is a situation where we are doing the project over there in the MRT Line 2 project, and this visit that I organized with my friends in the MRT as well as in the Pertahanan Awam, we call it the civil defense, and we actually it's a working tour to actually understand what are the evacuation procedures in case anything should happen. So that is a tunnel boring machine. Okay. Now, a critical lift plan must include also a sequential method statement I elaborated just now, explaining how the operation is to be undertaken. And the rigger, you mentioned things like rigger 1 and rigger 2, concurrently performing the rigging and slinging as per whatever is written. But if you go into more details, you want to talk about whether it's top to bottom, your accessories are hung top to bottom, or debob bottom to top. But the point is, whichever is safer for ergonomics or for the lifting. Okay, you don't want to start attaching everything together and then try to lift it up. All right, then you lifting up above your shoulder here is no good also. So all this must be covered. And then you write it down further to signaler 2, the blind spotter, and you must make sure that in your lifting plan he's standing at the right place, standing at a certain location, not on the boom, but not only that, but in an area where the main signalman can see. And so these are important factors that most of the time we can't see, and then it's getting so hot here, and people are all sweating, and most people assume everything should be okay lah. Just give the same signal, different signal to the crane operator. Little does he know that actually the blind spotter, the signal man number 2, not the main one, is actually not ready yet. Okay, he probably if you lift it up now, the load will actually sway. It will actually this, and actually you hit him. Okay, and most of the time the signaler and the rigger, they are complement each other, or they are the same person. Okay, so the signaler 1 giving the crane operator, you have to look at in the crane prelim meeting, you have to look at how he does it. So okay, you tell him just now, can you give a signal to a crane operator? He looks at the crane operator and give the signal. That is totally wrong already. It means he will get the habit that whenever he gives a signal, he actually looks at the crane operator. He is not supposed to look at the crane operator. He's supposed to only focus on the load which is being moved, okay, and or the signal man number 2, right? And things like what kind of products that you are going to use, the walkie-talkie, the air horn, or you want to use a hand signal and everything. And if your lifting actually concerns, it goes into different hours of the day. For example, it's silhouette hours. Those in the armed forces will know what I mean. Yeah, silhouette hours, you can't see very clearly, and it goes to night lifting, then you have tower light. Yes, but the tower light, too few is no good. Too much is also no good, because your eye gets blinded. Okay, so signal 2 gives a stop signal. And how do you actually hand over? So there must be a proper process, all written in the method statement. How do you hand over? Now, no more this, because we are doing lifting 40 meters down, and the top signal man no more in charge already. The bottom signal man is in charge already, because the load has already gone down 25 meters already, and you want the lower signal man there to take charge already. How do you actually hand over? This must be written carefully, so that there is no miscommunication between the signal, the first set of signaler, and the second set of the signaler. Okay, whether you're lifting up or going down. Speed of giving a signaler over the radio is also important. Most people don't think from that angle. You have to determine the speed of the upending and the downloading. Okay, you actually help the lifting coordinator. Lifting coordinator, as I said just now, is for a tandem lifting where you have the 2 or more cranes actually lifting or lowering at the same time, So you are actually helping, by doing it properly, you are actually helping the lifting coordinator to watch with his ears, okay? Especially during night lifting or the silhouette hours, all right? You watch with your ears because he is hearing. He can't really see carefully how it is being tilted, okay? So, and when it needs is a flipping point, you know what I mean? When it comes to here already, and when it reaches about 87 or 85, you actually ask them to slow down already, okay? Because exceeding 87 or 88 degree, right, it can go the other way around. And the moment it goes this way, what is going to happen? You don't really lose your load. All your crane actually overturn. Okay, so that is all accidents. So a lot of people finally will blame it on the crane operator. Okay, not really true. Like next, aligned concept. This is our concept that we have already shared with all our participants who attend our training. We call it the aligned concept. It's under our registered patent for the ISO group, and its final registration with the patent office. So how do you use it? This concept is actually used when we want to ensure that the load is picked up or set down perfectly with the COG of the load. This will prevent side pulling and hence the load swing when the load is being sling up. Okay, if it is a COG, let's say it's here, but because normal we just bring it up here thinking the COG is here, but actually it's over here, and the signalman did not do his job, was not paying attention, and the crane comes here. All right, I will use this as my sample here. Let's say this is the crane hook. All right, thinking the center of gravity is here, but actually the center of gravity is here. It's symmetrical load. All right, and when you lift it up, what happens? Okay, it will find its own COG. So it will go find ding, 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 ding. Okay, it comes like that. Okay, and it goes like this already. It means your sling on this side and this one, if it is only 2 legs, all right, there will be more impact, more stress on the other leg. So when that happens, it will break. And one break, the other will also break, and the whole thing comes down. Even though it is only, say, 5 meters, 2 meters high, but that is normally you will go up again at your trial lift. You actually have to stop and then check whether the load is actually level. Your load is actually level or not. Okay, level from bottom. Then only you continue. If it is not level, it means what? It means it will go stress this way or this way, and then after that, the sling or the shackle, whatever, will break, and that's hell breaks loose. Okay. And at this point, I like to, because
Frank, are you there with us? I know the most surprising thing is happening. Subhanallah, the whole world has lost WhatsApp, Instagram, and FaceTime. So are you able to hear me, guys? Okay. Zoom is down as well. I think Zoom is also down. Are you? Facebook, not FaceTime. Okay. Okay, Frank is there. Are you okay? Okay, fine. We will let Frank continue.
Yeah, I can hear you now. I
Yeah,
can
yeah.
hear you now.
Yeah, please go
Okay,
ahead.
okay. Good. I continue. Just a few slides more, and we can finish off already. All right. Okay, so at this point, I like to bring up the tagline holder. Okay, he have to hold his tagline properly and everything, but that is under the rigging training here. But what distance that he should stand away from the fall zone, that's important. All right. And next, a perfect landing is important. This is the area where we actually did of me at the 2,300 ton Navy vessel, and it's loaded on the SPMT, so it has to be perfect. All right, so the loading and the unloading, it must be set down point is very important. Okay, otherwise this is going to be a big issue. So the picture on the right here is actually a tunnel boring machine being lifted or lowered into MRT line 2. All right, so in this case here, the top of the hole is...
You need to share your slide.
Oh, it's not shared already. Okay, never mind. I will. No, the line wasn't good, so I think it goes off. Hold on a minute. Can see now?
Nope.
Can see now?
Nope.
No. Hold on a minute. Give me a minute. Just check. Oh, okay. I know. Okay. All right. Good. Okay. Got it?
Got it.
Oh, good. Okay. So a method statement is important. All right. Hold on, I just close this one. It's no good.
Go ahead.
Okay, so can you hear me?
Yep. Go ahead, please.
Okay. So a method statement is important, and that is sample of what we wrote over there. The signal person hoisting up 1 feet, 1 foot, and then the boot trial lifting, okay, for maybe 5 seconds. You can check your hoisting brake. And then after that, you signal person hoist up under the 4 feet and slew to the right hand side and everything. So all these are important. The other aspect is that you have a plan view like this will actually help. Notice that we always write the tool that we are going to, or the control that we are going to hold first, and then only follow up with the action that we want to do. We don't say up the hoist. We don't say turn slew the boom. So you actually boom down, boom up, okay, boom slew right. Okay, those kind of instruction. It should be the reverse of normally what we do. The reason is because when you say something instruction to the crane operator, so the crane operator slew right the boom. Then he have to start thinking the things that he has to do, the verb, as against the noun later. So it should be the other way around. Okay, next we talk about not to include the standard corporate safety and quality this thing. Tagline to make your lifting plan, the contents as lean as possible, and no organization chart should be included. Create it very lean, and it becomes a very streamlined roadmap to ensure that the lifting can be done perfectly, efficiently. That's good enough already. All right. Next, we have okay, next we have the sample view plan over here. So you can see even the matting, everything is done properly so that you can know how many pieces are required and what exactly to be done there. Okay, and this is I'll show here. Okay, so show you the video over here. So if you have a proper crane lifting software, that will be helpful to you. This is about we bought it. I think it was about 4,000 US dollar. All right, plus I think. But you don't have to buy this brand. Yeah? You can buy any. There are many in the market. It all depends on the kind of lifting that you are actually engaging. And if you buy the paid one, then it is expensive, but you also have the equivalent of some of them under a freeware. That means, but you will have to key in a lot of factors over here on the right hand side there, on the table there. What is the boom length, what boom height, and all those kind of stuff like. So you cannot play so much with it, but you have to do a lot of manual. All right. But it serves the purpose. After you like the software, then you can actually buy it. Okay, so that's what we suggest. People don't buy it straight away. All right. Okay, so this is one over there. Okay, then I create a video out of this, and from there you actually can what do you call help you to what do you call hold on, I'm changing my slide here a bit. Okay. Okay, so you actually can have this done properly, and with the video version, you actually not only have to come up with a lifting plan, but you also actually can use it in case you are tendering a project. It's useful for you to able to easily convince your what do you call your customer client that you can do it safely this way, and it will not create any what do you call accidents against the building and adjacent to the lifting and what so forth. All right, and you can do it much cheaper with your system over here, and that will actually win you many projects. All right, lift data sheet. As I said just now, a lifting plan could be with the data as well as the plans and everything together, method statement all together, or you just a data sheet over here in terms of the load of the weight, the weight in terms of the load, as well as the accessories and whatever, the configurations of the crane and everything. So this is some example. You can download all this kind of stuff in the website, but if you actually have a proper training, then there are a lot of things that we can actually have more detail there. Okay, the data sheets will include the total load. That means accessories that you use. A lot of people actually, when they use the crane over here, if this is the main block, and let's say you have also an auxiliary block over here, the main block here will have 4 or even 6 lines rope force here. So a lot of people do not take into account the rope force, because once the rope comes out, the hoisting rope comes out from the drum, over here, more of this comes in here. You have to take into account the weight of this kind of rope force, because more of the when it comes down, then more of rope force are actually going to the front. And let's say your crane is what you call oversight, that means it is going to be more issue already. All right. So this is becoming, the load is more, and against a radius of so much, it will exceed the crane lifting charts. All right. All right. Next, we have here this sample example of actually crane malfunction, or is it people who malfunction? People have not done their job, and therefore the problem. This is a situation of tendon lifting. That in this case here is 1 or 2 cranes are actually doing the work. So that's where crane lifting plan will have to be. You may even have to split into 2 plans. But the coordinator will have to understand both going on together. Okay, don't worry about the free poster. That one, in case you attend our training, we'll send it over to you. All right, but that is the communication plan is very important, because if you have a good plan, but it is not being what do you call distributed to the people at large, then it's like useless. Most of the plans that we notice, a lot of people, they do a plan for the sake of the compliance and signing and just filing it off. And the people who are signing it, again, also I've seen a lot of training where we have done, and a lot of people got worried after we teach them already. They realized, my gosh, I've been signing all the thing blindly. I didn't know there's so much of the things which can go wrong, you know. So these are things that we are concerned for, and a lot of people actually suffer. All right, the communication plan, this is most important. What kind of communication tools that you are going to use is important. At what time are you doing it, and all that. This is we have come to the end of our talk already. So but this is just to tell you a bit about what we are. We actually developed the National Occupational Skills Standard for crane operations. Operation of the crane itself, that means operator of the crane. But recently we also did this among some of my friends here, and some of them are here tonight also. So we did the crane operations level 1, 2, 3, but we embed everything into level 3 because it's a supervisor's job, you know, level, and they actually operate a crane. On the other hand, what we did over on the other side, on the left hand side over there, the orange color one, that is the one we talk about. We actually developed or rather redevelop the level 2 and level 3, and we further enhance it to doing the actual new one, which is the crane lifting coordination and the crane lifting planning. Okay, so this is actually the competency units of whatever we have done. Okay, and the details of it is actually inside the slides over here. So perform a risk lifting risk what do you call the assessment. So what are all the things that we cover here? So various kinds of lifting that we do is all mentioned inside there in our syllabus. And the next one here is performing the lifting weights and everything. So all this actually I more or less touched on just now in my talk. Okay, and the load specifications, the use on new and everything, you know. So all this will be actually part of the training. So DD ratio is a ratio of the diameter around the object that it is bent. For example, in this case here, all right. All right, so you have this bow shackle, all right, and here. So what is the diameter and this diameter, the two? Okay, so if you actually go to the furthest extent, you can even lose up to as much as 30% of your safe working load. All right, and all right, so this is about the lifting layout diagram that you actually come out to and draw it out. Again, then we have the next competency unit number 5, and we talk about the erecting and dismantling of the requirements, planning lifting team requirements. All this will be covered. And then the last part here is the crane lifting management, monitor the OSHI and requirements, lifting SOP that we referred to just now, whether everything is being taken care of. All right, so we are actually what do you call the CIDB, which is a Construction Industry Development Board of Malaysia, under ministry under the government of Malaysia, under Ministry of Works. And we actually are the people who actually run this kind of programs, and for the what do you call the people who are adults who actually come into this program, and they are already working in this business, and we actually can provide what they call micro credentials or short courses and adult as compared to the earlier slides that I show you but it covers the same thing, you know. So that's what we do. And here we actually we have the rigor slinger level, and this is more for those 5 days program, 4 days program, that kind of thing. So anybody interested can contact Mr. Riaz, okay? Then he can let me know, okay? Because I don't know, sometimes he may not be able to get me, because most of the time we are having back-to-back meetings and trainings and what so forth. Okay, with that, I end my talk, and I hope I have been useful in sharing whatever I know. If you have any questions, I'm trying to run through some of the questions just now through the break time and whatever. Okay, over to you, Mr. Riaz. Thank you.
Hey, thank you very much, Frank. I really appreciate it. If you can unshare your screen, and then we can quickly get into a quick discussion on the Q&A. Thank you very much. It was really very appreciating. You know, guys, you know, crane is a very complicated machine. You know, people we as safety guys and many more people working around the crane, they seems to be, okay, it's a machine, it comes, it picks up the load, and that's it. It transfers from one end to take it to the other part, and that's it. So it is not as simple as that. I call myself a very hardcore safety guy because I started my safety career from the ground level. I have, to be very honest, able to actually operate a simple crane. Just I wanted to know hands-on. I had a chance to operate a front loader, just to be hand-on. I have built scaffolding in my hands. So what I suggest, safety guys, don't just stand outside and watch a crane operator do his crane operations. Try to go inside the cabin, look through it. It's very difficult to get yourself trained. It's a very complicated machine. The trainings for cranes are very, very elaborated trainings. We really appreciate and thank Frank here. The talk that he gave, it takes 5 full days to cover, isn't it, Frank? It's not as simple of covering in 20 minutes or 40 minutes. It's a 5 full day of training programs, and really, really appreciate that you are able to bring a glimpse of it and give a layout of things to understand and catch up with our delegates here. Really thanks for that, Frank. Really appreciate. We'll take the questions here. There are quite a few questions, so good questions. And before that, we go there. We were talking about bundle puller, correct? So
Yeah, right.
yeah. So before the bundle puller machine came in, there used to be a very old machine, but the whole refinery used to own 1 or 2 bundle puller, and that's why it's a very mechanical one, not the recent ones, hydraulic ones. No, not those ones, the old ones. But in one single unit, probably there are 16 bundle pulling activities to be carried out, or 25 bundle pulling activities to be carried out in one unit alone in a major shutdown activity. I'm talking about year 2000 and before. This time around, I want your opinion on this. They used to use, it took me years together to change this culture. They used to use, let's consider that this is the boom and this is the head of the crane where the sling starts dropping down. They used to use this one to push the bundle inside the, yes, they used to push it inside. And when they have to remove the bundles, they used to tight, and they'll retract the boom. Is it an acceptable practice?
Most people are using that method. The fact that you're using the boom to actually push or pull, okay, is really a wrong thing. It is made to only lift.
Yeah.
Okay? Just like a forklift is only made to only lift.
Horizontal lift.
I have all these miniatures here. I borrowed from my grandson. You don't need to lift. Okay, you cannot use it to push because everything under there is not made to actually for pushing. All right, but a lot of people use it wrongly. So
yeah, unfortunate.
What to do?
Unfortunate. Anyway, quickly, let's go.
Just waiting for the crane to overturn. That's all.
No, it took me ages. It took me ages. I used to fight in every in the fight, in the sense I used to have a large discussions with the maintenance. Maintenance want to finish. Hey, I have 25 days to finish the shutdown. I need to finish this. So it was really, really, really tough time for me to, as I'm talking about my own personal experience. There are many here who are going to talk about it. See, one good question has come from one of our senior members here. So we're talking about being complacent, and then the crane operator, it's a very tedious job, crane operator's job. It's a tedious in a way that he will be sitting in the same position, same place for hours together. So what happens inadvertently, the question itself is very scary though. They use mobile phones, right? So have you come across any such incidents? Do you have any stats to talk about mobile, like cranes operators having an accident due to use of mobile phones?
I put it this way, lah. It is very common for them to actually sit in there doing nothing and waiting for the rigging to take place, and they will start calling their girlfriend or whoever, or somebody calling them, you know. Okay, but of course you don't see it these days because it is still happening, but you don't see it these days because it's all running on the what they call remote control, you know, so you can talk, and and they just close the door and in the aircon inside there, if it is a functional the aircon, you know, so they can talk. So, but the attention is not there. Just like you driving a car and you have the hands free, and then you're talking to your phone to your wife, spouse, or whoever, and so the full attention is no more there, and it's very hard to catch them, and because they are not holding it. They're not holding it. So they just put it there and then they talk. Very common. Even when we are doing training, we also have cranes coming, and we also rent some of the bigger crane as specified by the customer. And we also notice that, and we immediately give them hell and tell them to pack up and go. All right, and we stop using the crane, because I'm a member of the Crane Owner Association of Malaysia. So I have a host of people who are interested in lending their crane to us. We are paying for it though, but so if people do not follow, we just ask them to pack up.
A quick question. Thanks for that. You know, like it says that, you know, if you want to do crane lifting plan and risk assessment, and there's a little confusion probably among many professionals. Do I need to do a risk assessment, or do I need to do a lifting plan? A quick answer.
There are two parts of the question here. A crane lifting plan must come along. It's a method. It covers a method statement. But the method statement must be able to address and control all the hazards that you can identify, and in terms of the severity and the factors that we talk about there. You know? So it is actually part of the whole thing. So a HIRAC must be done. Of course, the details of the HIRAC we talk about here, the assessment part, is much more detailed. That's all. Otherwise, basically, it's the same.
Exactly. But risk assessment is a sub part of a lifting plan.
No, it's the basic part. Okay. So these are not two different things. So the lifting plan has to come in being only if you are done your risk assessment. Am I right? Yeah, right. Yes.
That's excellent.
100%.
Yeah, excellent. Perfect. Then so let's move on. Another very important question. A very simple question, a very important. I know we are running past the time. I don't know if, mashallah, I can see still we are 113 people on board. So I hope it is not delaying the course and people are getting bored about it. But still, I think I will take a few more minutes of yours, and then I think we can close it. I cannot probably take all those good questions out there, but I'll try to catch up. Using, okay, what is a quick difference between a critical lift or a normal lift? How do you say it's a critical lift?
The critical lift, as I said just now, it could be a tandem lifting. You're lifting a load from submerged
it has to be defined.
water.
It has to be defined. Should it be defined on the procedure?
Yeah. Yes. Right. It must be defined very clearly in your lifting policy that this is considered a critical lift. This is a normal lift, or this is a routine lift. This is a non-routine lift, or you can call it a medium risk or high risk. There are many versions of calling it, but not important. Important point here is anything which is a blind lift definitely is a critical lifting already. A blind lift. That means the crane operator actually cannot see the load being lifted and moving from point A to point B. That is already critical. So whether it's going down, going up, sideways.
Excellent. The crane has got basically two hooks. One is a main hook and one is auxiliary hook. Correct. So somebody says that
not necessarily, not necessarily,
but I'm talking about the cranes which are having two hooks.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I'm taking an example of crane having two, auxiliary hook and then the main hook. There is a myth again. There are a lot of myths involved in crane operations. One of the myth is the moment I use the main hook, it becomes critical. Is it a myth or no?
No, it's not. Using the main block doesn't make it not make it a critical lifting.
Thank you.
No, it's not critical. Okay, don't be confused on that. There are a lot of people. I noticed this question just now in the listing there.
Yeah,
It is definitely not.
yes. Okay. Another part, and many people have appreciated your detailed presentation. Of course, you talked about in the last slide about many training programs. Inshallah, if so possible, we can arrange those training programs. We will see how many people come. If you guys would really like to have a training program to be conducted, you need to contact ASSP. You need to contact us. You need to contact ASSP and tell the training division, tell Jahid, tell Sabdar, guys, we need a training program for crane. We need, so we will try our best to reach out beyond the borders of Kuwait to get you the best of best trainings available. Who will decide the rate of the crane, mobile or a lattice crane? What are the limitations between lattice crane and the manual crane? What's the lifetime of a crane? Good question.
Seriously, I still own a few cars which are 40 years old.
No, don't give that example.
No. I'm saying that if the crane is properly being maintained according to the hour span, the logbook, and the work to be done, everything the crane can use within the limits of what is stated is as per the manual. So that is really, to me, I always don't say there's no limit. A machine is made. If you think the structure is already spoiled already, it means the structure is not strong. Then it's cannot be used anymore. If you cannot replace it, then it cannot be used anymore. But if the structure is still holding well, good, you go for NDT, non-destructive testing, it's still usable. It's usable. That's why people like me, you see, I never retire. I'm still working.
MashaAllah. May God give you a long and healthy life, man. Don't say that. See, we are safety officers and safety supervisors and safety engineers. They are considered to be gods, the master of, like jack of all, basically. We suddenly are asked to go and check electrical safety, instrumentation, related things. They will ask, go check the maintenance part. Hey, go check the scaffolding. Oh, go check this crane operation. So coming to the crane operation, as a safety officer, he is not totally trained and equipped to go and check a crane operations. A quick basic knowledge, ABCD, the 1, 2, 3, what he is to know the moment a safety officer or engineer or a concerned supervisor of safety happens to be assigned to a site where a crane operation is happening. What would be his quick 1, 2, 3 question? And before you answer it, I would like to tell everybody, I'm very sorry, I will not be able to take questions on board. So if you have questions, put it on the chat. I will not be able to open the cam and get the questions on board. I really apologize for that. Please go ahead.
So the first thing that you have to do is the best avenue is definitely he has to attend the crane lifting planning course.
Exactly.
Okay. Now, if he is not able to do that, the worst he can do here is he must look for a crane lifting plan prepared by the crane lifting planner. Okay, and then he better read through in detail. If you don't understand, then give a call to Cik Muhammad Riaz. Who will then direct it over to me, okay, if they don't understand. But seriously, it's a question of reading carefully. Don't understand, ask. Okay, as an intellectual, as a safety professional, I'm quite sure that if they care to read carefully, most of the accidents we can know is because of what ill knowledge. So they can read and find out. And if they don't know, then they ask, seek.
This is the very important golden rule. If you don't know, ask. It's a golden rule of safety.
Don't just commit and do.
Yeah. So I think we end here. So I think there's one question. Inspection third party, one main hook capacity 50 tons, while SWL of the crane is 45 tons. I don't know how is this question.
Hold on. Can I see the question, because this is
no, I'm telling you. I'm
trying to look at it. Okay, I got it. Yeah, during a crane inspection, I got two third-party certificate.
Yeah.
2 third-party certificate. Why 2? Okay. Case 1. Case 1. Main hook capacity is 50 ton, while safe working load of the crane is 45 ton. So then, two main hook capacity is 20 ton, while crane safe working load is 80 ton. What is the question actually?
You have to do the whole course for that. So let's. The question is, you need to do the whole course for that. So basically, what he's trying to say is the capacity for the main hook they have rated as 50 tons, whereas the whole safe working load of the crane itself is 45 tons. So how do you justify this? This is probably his question. Similarly, another scene is so the rating of a hook and the rating of a crane, it is so different. How do you justify? Can you give a quick answer? You got the question.
Quick answer is, okay, the quick answer is, if the crane is rated at 45 ton as per the government giving the license approval, that means it's made for 45. Even though your hook capacity is 50 ton, you have to use the 45 ton. Simple. Whichever, I covered this just now, whichever is the lower.
Excellent answer. Excellent. I think Mirza, whoever asked it, I mean, I think it's okay. So thank you very much. I think we stop at this point of time. I really appreciate. So we move on, and I would like to call Jahid on board so that we can do the next round, very, very interesting round of Lucky Draw. I think, first of all, before we just go ahead and say a big thanks to Lieutenant Colonel for this excellent presentation. It's about 1:15. It's about 1:15 in the past midnight. So here in Malaysia. So really appreciate, Frank. I know you have a long day again tomorrow morning. So I really appreciate it. Thank you very much at this point of time. So Jahid, a quick word for Frank.
Thank you very much, Mr. Riaz. On behalf of ASSP-KC chapter, I would like to thank Viconex, Mr. Riaz Sharif, and all entire Viconex staff. Plus, today is our eminent speaker, Mr. Lieutenant Colonel, Mr. Frank Tan. Mashallah, really wonderful presentation. And you had kept engaged all the participants, almost 125 already reached at the time of peak, and still we have 105. So this is a very fruitful and very good topic and session. Thank you, Mr. Riaz. And inshallah, together we will do some more events like this.
Inshallah, inshallah. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. So guys who need a certificate for this course, please pass your 5 KD to the chapter, and then we will be able to arrange for that. So we will move to the next event for the day. That is about, let's see who is the lucky person for tonight.
Asghar Hussain.
Mr. Asghar Hussain. Is Mr. Asghar Hussain around there? You need to say hi. At least wave his hands.
Yes, Asghar Hussain is there.
Is there. All right. So Asghar gets the first prize. Can we see the slide, please? So let's see what he gets as the first prize. Asghar, thank you very much. It's okay. Can you get the slide up? Okay, Asghar, you get a 75% discount on the delegate fee for Kuwait International Conference on Occupational Health and Industrial Hygiene. So you can contact the chapter, or through the chapter you can contact the organizing team for KICOH to get your discounted ticket. Thank you for joining in, and congratulations. Next. Iqbal Hussain. Jahid.
Iqbal Hussain.
Okay, congratulations, Iqbal Hussain, for this excellent prize. You will be given a 50% discount on joining the KICOH conference. So please, you can encash this one by attending this program on a 50% discount. Congratulations for this. Please contact the chapter, and through the chapter, the organizing committee will be notified to get this prize delivered to you. Thank you very much for this. And then I will let Jahid already done your Thanksgiving, but we don't want to take much time. So Jahid, thank you very much for arranging this. thanks to Safdar, thanks to Mazhar, thanks to all the team, ASSP, the present, the team which is managing it. I know it's a very, very, very difficult time. You guys are doing it. Excellent job. Thank you very much. And then we have a lot of senior members here with us. We have, I think, Mohideen is with us. If you would like to come on board and say hi to everyone, most welcome. I think Ashok is also around. He can also just open his cam for a quick hi to everyone, so that we know that the senior members are also interested to attend such programs as well. So Mr. Mohideen and Ashok, if you're around, say hi. Otherwise, we will move to the closing.
Sir, unmute, we have to do unmute.
We can do it if the cams are on.
Yes.
Yes.
Cams
Yes.
How are you?
Good.
It's really wonderful program, Mr. Riaz, and thanks to you, for organizing such a nice program. And our special thanks to Lieutenant Colonel Mr. Frank Tan, and really it's a very good program. Of course, there are many things going beyond our knowledge, and of course we need to learn a lot, because it seems he has a vast experience in this field, and there is a lot to learn. And but again, it's a really very good program, very much useful to all of us. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All the best.
Okay, Ashok, you're around there. You can just say your word. We can. Hi, Ashok. Hey, you're joining with the phone, man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was
okay.
just listening to our colonel. He's having a very good knowledge. Of course, there's no doubt in that. I only can say that he has just shared the iceberg of the knowledge today.
Hey, Wallah, you're right. You're right. Absolutely.
But it is amazing, Riaz, the way you have conducted the proceedings. I always believe in connecting the dots. Wherever you go, whichever part of the world you are there, Ritvik is there, you are there. Connecting with the chapter is amazing. Thank you very much, and I truly enjoyed today. Thank you. Looking forward for such events in the future.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Really appreciate it. Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you, all, everybody. Now we will let our Nadira to do the wrap up. Thank you very much. Good night to everyone. I really enjoyed hosting this program. I hope you guys enjoyed attending this program as much I enjoyed presenting it to you guys. My sincere thanks to Frank. My sincere thanks to Jahid. My sincere thanks to everybody who has made this program happen. Jazakallah khair. Thank you very much. Have a very good night. Nadira, can you just do your thank you. Yeah, the sound is not there. Yeah. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum everyone. Thank you all for attending today's program. It was my pleasure hosting it. I wish to see you all in the Kuwait International Conference on Occupational Health and Industrial Hygiene, which is scheduled on November 3rd and 4th, 2021. Till then, stay safe. We sincerely hope that you, all your friends, and loved ones remain safe